It's 8 o'clock already. How are you doing? Wow. Ugh. Are you guys okay with your microphones? Because I heard.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yes,
Testing.
I hear you. Do you have to set up a push button? I thought I removed that before.
No, I just doing it on purpose.
Okay, okay, all right.
I just put in my headphones. Do you hear me okay?
Yes, I do.
I'm just trying to determine. Do you have a bar behind your head? Like, is that your own bar that you have at home?
That's my microphone. A
No,
bar,
no,
a
no.
bar. Oh yeah,
Your
it's a bar. Yes, it's my bar. I don't use those generated
your,
backgrounds. It's
your
my
home bar. Very nice.
yeah. I don't use it too often actually. Sometimes I troubleshoot people and I don't feel comfortable about getting paid, so I said I want to
Well,
get paid in liquid and
if
then
you're going to be troubleshooting people, you're going to have to make sure you have the right kind of, bar cloth and wipe the surface of the table and then throw it over your shoulder like Sam Malone and talk to people about their lives.
yeah, I should do that. Anyway, so the story is I asked them to get paid in liquid and
The token or the physical?
n- no, the physical, but not a token. When I say liquid, I'm talking about alcohol. So every time they get back with a bottle of something. But now my wife is getting angry because she says, "Stop asking for alcohol." Because
Blob
this
of high
is
quality maple syrup.
yeah, that's now we have plenty of that too. But yeah, the bar is pretty full. There's no more inventory for bottles, so now I do it for free, or I ask them for a little something.
Speaking of fluids in general, I haven't used my LTT water bottle in some time, and it had water sitting in it. So the edges of the outside of it, or the inside of it, seems to have leaked into the water that was sitting there, and there's a distinct smell that I've washed out a few times. But it seems that the metal inside of this container has leaked into the water that was previously sitting in it for a long period of time. So I'll have to wash that a few times for it to be normal again.
Okay, so what if? Because I had a concern. There's something that I saw before that concerns me because when you build a transaction, you have the transaction ID of the output of your transaction, of course. And when you submit a governance action, the index is always zero because you transact to yourself and there's only one output, which is yourself, normally. But if you have more than one output, so let's say I want to submit a governance action and in the same transaction I send money to other people. So then I get more than one index. So I get index 0, index 1, index 2, 3, and so on, depending on how many people I send money to, with the same transaction ID, which is the UTXO of that person's address, whatever. What I saw in the governance state, I saw a single governance action being replicated with different index,
As if each part of the transaction was itself a governance action instead of separate items that aren't
yes,
related.
yes. So if I transaction out to more than one people, then the governance action, the proposal itself, get linked to all those outputs, and it fills up the governance state with. That's what I'm trying to reproduce right now. I know it has been done with transaction raw because the transaction build you use a change address and then transaction out. So I believe they made something in the code to track that and only link the governance action to the change address. But if you use the transaction build raw, you don't have no change address. You only have transaction outputs.
So it's hard to know which one's the originating one. Well,
Yes.
well, yeah.
Well, I
That. You could parse it, but they're not going to do that. So
That's what I'm trying to
that's
reproduce.
complicated. Maybe they're just going to deprecate build raw.
Well, I like I said, that's what I'm trying to reproduce. I'm just trying to make a governance action that's going to be replicated like 2 to 3 times and record that so I can send them the video or the part of the video where I do that and so they can fix it or find a way to fix it. Because, yeah, I saw this, somebody else did it, and I'm not sure if it has been reported because I was looking at the governance state and then I fell on that. I think it was an info action or probably a yeah committee update proposal, and the three of them had the same transaction ID but a different index. So hey, how's it going? Who's this?
Hello. No, it's still me.
Oh, that's you.
I just I'm camped at the moment. I need to go to the barber.
I'm not
But
used of the Johnny without glasses.
without what?
Without glasses. On your picture, you have glasses on, and every pictures I saw of you, you had your glasses.
That's true. That's because I was out and about. I'm at home right now. Maybe I should go get them just for continuity's sake. Yeah, so it's going to be spammed, is what you're saying. You're going to end up with, if people do transaction build raw versions and they send out multiple things that aren't governance actions, somebody
Yes,
doing a lookup is going to see all sorts of extraneous and unneeded
exactly.
data.
Yes.
And they're not going to go know which one is actually the thing to vote on unless they parse it themselves. So, how do you exclude returns, outputs
Well,
that aren't without inside of the ledger itself? I have
that
no idea.
that was my concern because as I saw this, I was able to vote on each one of them, and they track the votes
You can vote on
separately.
some random send. So like I agree with this send to this other person that's not in any way something to vote on.
Yeah. So it's gonna get messy if that's not fixed. But yeah,
Imagine if you could vote on the validity of people's transactions sending money to other people and be like, no, and then have that reverse.
yeah, that'd be troublesome, I think. Yeah. So as I was waiting for you, I was kind of trying to do that, but I'm having a hard time to calculate my fees. So maybe it's going to do a little trick and use the fees calculated from the transaction build instead.
I think all of the guides and tutorials use transaction build and not the raw version, and I think they're trying to push people in that direction in general, right?
What's that?
I said I think all of the guides and tutorials that are given in Sancho.network use transaction build and not build raw,
Yes.
and they're trying to push people in that direction. So maybe they just haven't worked on build raw and extending it and making it understand things. Maybe it's just not something they've considered.
From my understanding, I think they're just expecting the wallet providers to
Yeah, a
deal with
lot
them.
of it, a lot of this is going to be on why
Uh,
it's in
and
by
we're
people.
all gonna be we're all gonna get left over. I reported it. They first they first made the change on the transaction build, and they left the transaction build raw on the side. They didn't change anything on it. Then Martin from Metada brought it up. I brought it up, and well, I don't even know if they fixed it. I didn't test so much the Conway part of transaction build raw.
Also, you won't even know until 8.7 comes out, right? What else they've changed and how it works there.
Hmm. Um, yeah, right. Uh, you give me just a second. I'm gonna have to make some calculations. Yeah, right. That's not what I want. This is what I want. Okay, so let's make an expression. I'm really curious to see if I can find a way to. What was my fees? 181,297. What else? I want to send 10 ADA to my other wallet. That's going to be change of goes back to this one. There you go. That's good, that's good, that's good. So normally it shouldn't complain too much. Nice. So shall we try to sign this? And
Are you streaming now, by the way?
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, it was lovely color commentary, but it would be nice to see
No, I'm
too.
not. I wasn't. I thought you guys were seeing this. My God. One of my kids is sick. Okay, so let's do this. Let's sign the transaction. So far, so good. And as soon as I submit it, it's not gonna work because I have a feeling it's not gonna work. Yeah. From list, Mary value. Well, it's not right. There's only a 3 of us, so yeah, I could, you know, I could just leave that for another time. Don't want to bore you out. I don't want to, you guys to get bored.
No,
See,
it is an interesting issue, and it isn't supported by the looks of things at the moment. But like, it's in the weeds if you were teaching new folk. Like, well, I want to go into the advanced stage of doing your own building of transactions and calculating your own min fee first, and then building your own thing. I mean, yeah, it's cool and interesting, but I think it might be overwhelming to new folk.
hold on. I'll just show you what I saw. Okay. Query governance state and testnet magic 4, and we'll filter it GK and use the proposals. Yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, where are you? I know it's there somewhere.
I see one with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that's the one right there. You see? Transaction ID. Oh, right there. Transaction ID. The index 1. And this one, look. The very same transaction ID. But with the index 2. And it's there. It's replicated.
And,
It's the very same.
only one of them is actually relevant, right?
Yes, but the thing is, I can vote on this one, and it's not going to show on the second one. So with a single transaction, I can just have 10 times the same governance action.
Yeah, you're going to split the vote. It's kind of like, a candidate
Yes.
job.
So the deposit itself is supposed to hold us from doing that, from spamming the chain, but you can actually spam it in a single transaction by just having a whole set of transaction output.
Isn't it great that they created a separate DevNet called SanchoNet instead of going live with this, before the end of 2023 to hit a milestone?
I think uh, it's a pretty short time schedule for that governance. I would have waited a little longer, but I don't know why they. I kind of got a feeling they're rushing it because it's there's so many
Oh,
things to
they're
test.
totally rushing it. I get the impression SanchoNet was a compromise. They wanted this thing out, and they've been talked down.
But yeah, as you can see here, there's already a vote on this one, a vote no.
Here's a question: you've posited that you can vote on the other one, but can you? Can you submit a vote to that transaction index now and see if it counts?
You mean right now?
Yeah, vote on the wrong one. See what happens.
Sure, sure. Sure. I can do that.
If it appears like you can and then you physically can't, it might not be as bad a problem as it looks. If it errors out and says not a viable thing to vote on.
No, it's gonna work. I know it's for sure it's gonna work. All right, I'll vote on it. Oh shit! Wait. For some reason I spend my I spend the rest of my transaction. Everything that was in my wallet has been spent in governance action, and they don't pay back the deposit. So my wallet is empty. I have to send some ADAs in it. If you give me some times, I'll just recreate a quick wallet one. I'll recreate a quick drep on this one. All right, let's make a drep real quick. Register drep. All right. So let's do this. I'll generate the keys. I will create an ID. And then, oh yeah, I saw this earlier, the new fees for the key deposit of a drep is 12. Why? Probably Ryan again.
They changed it again. Now I have to go.
They,
I'm not even gonna bother updating the documentation.
you know what I did actually? There's something you can do. Here on the tutorial, they put the original amount, but you can change that amount with actually I could do it with the query to go get the number. Let's say okay, yeah, I could explain that. Why not? Cardano CLI Conway query governance state, and then if you filter that to a GQ command, and then you go to enact, not enact state, like this. Oh wait, I forgot. Testnet magic 4. And then from there, I want to have the current, the actual parameters, so the current params. So again, I filter it again, dot current params. And what else do I want to filter? I want to have dot the, where is it? Drep key deposit. So that's drep deposit. Like this. Is it like this? Yes, it looks like this. So if I run this command, I get the output, which is 12, right? So the output is the amount of Loveless that cost the drep deposit. So if I just grab this whole command that's there, and instead of using this here, oh wait, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll just clear my terminal and do it again. There. So that's the command to generate a register cert. You could just erase that, and instead, if you don't know what it is, in your command you ask for the result of, no, not this. Damn it. Sorry guys. Yeah, this is what I want. So I'll just paste it somewhere I can get it back. No. Why you do this to me? Copy. Paste. Good. All right. Oh, we could do it here. That's a register. So instead, I could ask for, I'll copy that here. Yeah, again, I could ask for the result of my command, which is the query of the deposit amount.
It's not gonna work.
It's not going to work.
Didn't that reply with 12?
Yeah?
So add 6 zeros to the end after you do that query. Because you have to designate Lovelaces in the command.
It is in
For
Lovelace.
the
It is 12
oh, it's only
Lovelace.
12. It's 12 Lovelaces?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought okay.
Yeah, it is
Wow.
12 Lovelace.
Okay.
And,
Sorry.
and
Okay,
there
I
you
lost
go.
that. I thought it
So,
was saying 12
right?
test date.
So whatever what it is, even if it changed in the future, it's still going to work if you use that command. So you don't have to break your head. Well, on testnet, it doesn't matter. But on mainnet, let's say it goes up to 1,000,000, you don't want to, you still want to know what it is. But on testnet, it doesn't matter much. Yeah, as you can see, if I do this, it's all in Loveless. You can see the key deposit
Yeah,
here.
I get that it's not. I'm surprised because it used to be it used to be 2 ADA, so just to go down to 12 Lovelaces is kind
I've been commenting all this time and didn't realize I wasn't heard. In
Oh,
documentation, it absolutely makes sense in documentation to always have it be a query to the current value instead of just requiring people to update it all the time.
hold on, my kids are. Hey, sera pas long là, je suis occupé. Va voir maman.
Go to bed.
What's that?
Go to bed.
Go to bed? No, it's not. It's the weekend. They have special permissions. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does make sense to always have it be a query, rather than have it be manually updated every bloody time by someone each time it changes. Yes, as long as those queries don't change, of course. And we don't change the name of fields and parameters on the thing itself. But yeah, that's cool. I
But
would support that. Cool. Um,
that's what they did for
right.
the.
So can you
Yes.
drop in chat the errant proposal and index, the one that you shouldn't vote on, and I'll vote on it from here and see what happens.
Sure, sure. I. No, I haven't. Okay, so I gotta find it again. Let's go find it. Proposals. I know it was there somewhere. So, that actually means that somebody knows it can do that. So I'll just grab the ID and we'll change the index according to it.
Yeah. I'll vote on both, so one after the other, right? I'll do the wrong one and the right one and see what happens.
That's my virtual machine. Just give me a second. I'll just make sure that um oh, I should be able to. Okay, let's see. Chat. Chat is there. Oh, no, that's not.
That does not look like text.
No. Interesting.
Can you
Interesting.
right click, and is there a right click option like copy as text? Oh man, I remember having to go through Notepad. You have to go through Notepad to clear out any formatting issues and then move on to the next thing.
Why does it show an
of. That's
image?
a nice little trick.
Oh man. This is sad.
I mean, I could manually type it all out or do my own command, whatever. That came through as an image as well. That's very strange. Notepad man or text editor or whatever for Linux. Don't use rich text formats.
Yeah, that was supposed to work. Hold on, give me a second. I'll just try to figure out what's going on with that.
Can you paste into the notepad as unformatted text?
Yeah, it's something that doesn't support, any kind of fanciness. Just normal text editor.
Oh, I know what happened. Okay, now I get you. Ah, there you are. Awesome. Okay, I hope I don't have to reboot. I hope I don't have to reboot. Please. Ah, there you are. Okay,
Okay.
hey,
I can
that's
now vote on a thing. All right, so what's the wrong index?
victory. Okay, I don't have the index, but you can, actually 0 would work, 1 would work.
No, I want to know which one specifically shouldn't work. So is it 0 is the wrong one and 1 is the right one, or which one is the right?
They all do. They all work. That's what's concerning. Uh, hold on.
I don't know. I'm just doing an empirical test, like just to see what my vote does.
Hold on. I'll give you a hand with that. I'll just get it ready for you guys to see it. There you go. So that's the governance section ID right there, like this, and that's not good. I have to erase. That's the old command from whatever respawn they did, and it's proposals. Now the query is not into the
Okay,
governance. There
so
you
let
are.
me tell you this. I've just tried to do both. I can share my screen, I guess. This here. Does that work? Go live.
And
Can you
this
see
is the
that window?
command. If I can see your screen,
Let's see. Where's
no,
I can't see
where's the
my.
screen?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this is what happened, right? I voted on index 0 and it submitted fine. And now I've got an error for voting on index 1, the same vote. No, it might just be that I didn't have enough balance, but let's have a look at this error and see what it says.
Oh, interesting. Let me try. Let me try that. Uh, do I have my repository somewhere? Kind of lazy. There, I'll just go grab my. Where did I put it? Documentation, SanchoNet script, derevote.
The specific error seems to be deserialized failure 15, coin in value, expected a positive coin got 0. Then it says vote complete, even though that error is there. So what does that mean? Did anything go through on the chain as a positive vote in both of the indexes? Or did the error prevent the vote going through even though it says it was complete?
No,
Because
that's
it's saying it complete is just a part of your script, right?
no,
So I
it's
just
not.
assumed.
It's not. No, my script was pretty simple. It was just you're at this stage, it's complete. It's just an echo. It,
Yeah, it's just an
it's
echo complete, so it
yeah.
didn't actually. You're not doing any testing of the
No,
actual.
I told everyone it was like a lazy one. I just made it quick. It
Very
took me 5 minutes. I was like,
Has it completed properly? Yes, no, and then different outputs.
how,
But okay,
how,
so it failed, right? It failed whenever I went to index 1. Now I'm just realizing. Oh no, it is just index 1. Yeah, it just failed. So does that mean your concerns aren't too concernable?
just let me check first. I just want to try it. I think I gave it to you in the chat. I'm just gonna grab it.
Because although it may be messy looking whenever you do that query, at least if it doesn't allow you to put the vote on the wrong one, that means you're not going to split the vote. You're just going to get an error whenever you choose the wrong index.
I'm seeing a no vote though. Is that yours?
No, I voted yes.
I voted no.
I got
I
a
voted,
I got a yes and I got a no.
I don't even know what I'm voting on. What am I voting on?
Okay, let me try. Okay, let me try that. Oh wait, Am I registered? I'm not even sure if I'm registered. Hold on. Am I registered? Where was I? Oh my god. So confused. Register a DREP. I'm not even sure if I'm registered. No, I'm not. I was talking about it. Okay, yes. So what I did my register cert. That's what I did. I didn't submit it. I definitively should. So I'm not a DREP yet. Just let me do it. And submit. Okay, so now I'm a DREP. I am a DREP. Hope it's gonna work. Let's try. So first, I want to see the governance action. There it is. Okay, so that's the one with the index 0.
Yeah, and can we see the one as well?
The one, yes.
And the one is the one that failed out for me and said not valid, right? So even if it does spam the reporting of the governance actions, if you can't actually vote on the one that's wrong,
Okay,
it's not as bad of an issue, right? Because you're not going to accidentally split the vote. It's going to be annoying though, because you're going to have all this crud
I'm
that
gonna
you
try.
don't need.
I'm gonna try it right now. First, I want to. No, I got it. Where is it? Vote. Okay, that's done. All right, let's try it. Okay, governance ID. That's the one. So that is the index 0. Let's try this. Index 0. And I'll say
What should have been the vote here anyway? What were we voting on?
abstain. Why not? Let's do this.
Ooh, you made it more fancy.
Oh, no, you didn't see this one. Yeah. Whoa. I played with it a little bit. Yeah, it is more fancy, but it didn't change in its score.
No, the commands remain the same, but if you're actually checking that things work now, that's nice.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see this. Okay, there it is. So index 0 works. Let's try with the index 1.
In my experience, this feels out and says no.
I'll say no. Okay, let's do this.
Okay, where this time? Unless you're not showing the errors.
It is there. Yeah.
Damn it! I thought I was onto something. So you can vote on the wrong thing.
Yep.
Well,
that's concerning. I believe, I'm glad this is testnet. Anyway,
this is a great one. If someone submits something with multiple outputs using transaction build raw, they'll create a split of the vote, and they could use that to their advantage to misdirect people,
yep.
to tell them to vote on the wrong thing, to then influence the end result, right?
3 index, 4, 5. That's oh my god, 5 index 5 from the very same. And what concerns me is that that person who did that didn't report it at all. So you can expect some sketchy people to.
Oh yes.
So yeah, it's a problem. I really want to reproduce that. I have to do this. I gotta find out what's going on with this. How. See, that's the index 5. And if I try to vote on this.
I just did the index 1 again submission myself, I thought I was onto something with that error, but the error did not occur this time, and it did successfully go through. At least it appears to have done so. So if you do an index, or sorry, a query on index one again, you should see my note come in as well on top of yours in a moment.
Yeah, there's always a delay. Yes, kind of hard sometimes to vote. I think I told you before, sometimes it can take up to 2 minutes before we see a block on Sancho. So I know some stake
Hmm.
pool operators had troubles
Yeah, because of the
thinking,
respins, they don't register or re-register properly, or they don't change the Conway
yeah,
Genesis file, or they don't. Yeah, just lots of little
or
fiddly things to do.
or they do register thinking they're on the right chain and they stay on the, yeah, it's there. I see it.
No, that's your one
Oh,
from
that's
before.
mine. That's mine again.
There should be two. So where's mine?
Oh, there it is. I got it.
There it is. Okay, confirmed, peer reviewed. Problem exists.
Oh, since it's a workshop and Adam, are you still there, Adam?
Yeah, can you
Okay,
guys hear me?
I can. Is there things or
Okay, yeah,
questions you would like to know? Because there's like only the three of us right now. Is there things you wanted to
sure.
do?
Yeah, so I want to make sure I fully understand the nature of the problem, so people can vote on um, the wrong one. What Just the wrong index. So like the problem is that somebody could point them in the wrong direction. They think they voted and they haven't. Is that what?
Yeah,
Where's the bug? I mean, like, where
the
is
bug
the
is
issue other than people typing the wrong number?
I'll do it.
the bug is that it shouldn't be possible to create more than one index for a
Yeah,
governance action. It should be
Yeah, that makes
restricted
sense.
to just the one, so that there's only one thing that can be voted on. But it doesn't look like they've done work on the transaction build raw command within the Cardano CLI to actually parse for that. So you can make lots of different
yeah.
outputs in manual build mode, and create lots of different indexes for a single governance action, which could then split the vote if people miscommunicated which index was actually votable. So if you do it on transaction build, the new version, the one that's more simple and does all the fee calculation for you, then it'll only have one, because it has the concept of a change address, and it puts that in, and it makes sure you only have one thing as the overall submission for governance vote. But if someone decided to, they could construct a multi-output manual transaction that creates multiple indexes, and then miscommunicate to people that they wanted to which one to vote on, so that they could sort of influence the vote.
So it's basically a social hack where you can tell
Yeah,
somebody go vote on the governance action. Make sure you use index two. They use index two, and they get a reply saying you have successfully voted. So they think that they voted. They can go and check that they voted, but it's not the ones that's actually going to be used
yeah.
when
It's
it
not.
comes to
It's not actually
putting the
even a
governance
governance.
action forward. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not even actually a governance action at all. It's just a random send of data from one person to another. So there's no votable thing within it. So that index is just some random arbitrary sending of data from one wallet to another, and people are voting on it, which they shouldn't be able to do anyway, because that's an absurd thing, like voting on just people sending money to one another. So
Right.
it's a broken thing.
If you guys hold on. If you look at my screen, you can see my super whiteboard paint.
I love it. I love it. This is good diagramming. But here's the thing.
Wah!
So there needs to be something in the creation part, or in the lookup part, or in the submission part, or in all three, that does like a validity check to see if there's
Mhm.
actually something there to vote on, or to see if you're only submitting one thing to vote on,
Oh,
or whatever level you put this on, preferably at the beginning, so you can't do it, preventing it from occurring at all. But if even
Mhm.
if you can't prevent it, at least doing a validity check to make sure that what you're voting on exists as a real governance action, and not just some arbitrary
the
send of
real
data.
the real way I would track this is I would track it from the oh, can you track it from the input instead? No, you can have more than one input. It's not
No,
gonna do the same.
ah, dear, what a shame. Um,
Yeah,
But
that's,
it's
as you can
kind of
see,
like
Adam.
policy.
Ad,
It's almost like policy IDs as well, because like you can have multiple copies of the same collection of
mhm.
items with different policy IDs, and someone needs to communicate the correct one. But it's even more nefarious than that because it's just the same ID, just a different index
Yeah.
number.
So as you can see, Adam, that's kind of. I try to make a drawing what happens if
No,
you
no,
put.
I get that part. I get that part.
All
I'm
right.
just, like why it's a problem, making sure I get like,
Yeah,
and I
so we get
suppose the answer
all
is
those
it
governance.
spams the chain too, right?
It does in a single
Yeah,
transaction,
yeah, yeah.
and it's a problem.
I guess one way that you could mitigate the problem if you can't prevent it from happening is you could have it aggregate all indexes under the same governance ID heading because you can't spoof a different governance ID number or
That's right.
hash. So if you had it calculate based on parsing every single vote across all indexes, then it wouldn't really matter if people split the vote across the different indexes and transactions because they'd all link back to the same ID. But then is there supposed to be support for multiple governments proposals under different indexes? Is that a thing they're planning for or not?
I don't think so. I don't think so. They're just it.
Yeah, so
Yeah, no,
so
I mean, most you would expect the governance action is just to have reached soft consensus first and then go for yes or no should this be enacted. So, yeah.
so if you make a transaction ID agnostic is what I'm saying whenever it's doing the reporting. So it just checks all of the potential transaction IDs and gives you an output for all votes aggregated together. You get the answer
Yeah,
irregardless of what people chose, one, two, three, four.
because they wouldn't be able to. They can duplicate it, but they wouldn't be able to submit three different governance
Oh, that's a
action
good
using
point.
sim.
Oh, that's the problem. They'd be able to vote on it multiple times. So they'd be able to vote on one, two, three, four, and vote, yes, 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 get four votes in and have them all counted. Unless you also did a parse of the hash of the DREP who was voting and filtered out. It's a lot of extra compute that's needed just to filter out this
No.
mess that's being created.
Oh.
Yeah, that's inefficient in
Imagine,
itself.
imagine that the way they are enacted is supposed to be in order, right? First come, first serve. But if they're all from the same transaction, what's it gonna be? They're just gonna be enacted at the same time. Like if you do that times, you can have like almost 300 outputs from the same transaction.
Yeah, yeah,
We get,
and you could have everyone vote multiple times, and
oh
you could
my god.
spam the yes vote across all of these indexes. And if you were aggregating, you'd end up with a huge overrepresentation of the yes vote.
Oh my god. I'm I'm I'm
It's almost like governance is hard.
I'm actually sad that I didn't think about that before this guy. I was supposed to play the evil guy on Sancho, and then see this other peoples are getting better than I am, especially Ryan. Oh, okay. Well, I want to reproduce this first, and then report it, of course.
Oh, I've reproduced it. I've voted on a transaction that isn't actually a governance proposal at all. It's a different index. It's been created from a transaction build raw. It is not supposed to be voted on, but is able to be voted on by a DREP who is outside of your system. So I've confirmed the bug, and now we just got to talk about the implications of the bug.
Yep, yep. All right. I'm glad this is the testnet. Imagine.
What? Very, very much so. Very, very much so. Yes, the testnet is very much needed for this.
I mean, we can still. No big deal. We can still filter it with GK, but how big? How
Yeah,
how
but
big can you fill up the
like I say,
ledger?
you'd have to filter it more ways than one. You'd have to filter it by governance action, aggregate by index, and then filter out duplicates. And it's just so much extra steps.
How much can you fill the governance state before it gets uh, messy?
Well, is this all in RAM on nodes? Is that's a question? Like, are all of these governance actions being held in the mempool or in RAM somewhere on the Cardano nodes that are running? things, or is this why they're working on offsetting a bunch of RAM storage to the disk? Because that's what they've been working on recently, right? They want to be able to
Yep.
take certain things and place them on disk instead of in RAM. Is this specifically to cover holding all of the current things being voted on?
Where's it? It's there. Out. Whoops. Out file. Out file. Out file. Let me check something out. Okay. I got it there. Should be.
Whenever you do queries like that, it'd be cool if you could drop them in chat so we could recreate on our side just to have the
Oh,
hands-on.
sure. Oh, all I did, I just, yeah, I did a query of the governance state. Chat. Where is it?
I mean, I could just not be lazy and I could type what you've typed, but like it'd be nice.
Yeah, I did an out file that I called, or I could have called it JSON, but anyway. I just want to check something out. Oh, okay. Interesting. So as it is right now, the governance state JSON file is 828 kilobytes. Where's my window? There it is.
So, what do you reckon? How many governance action proposals are there in here? Quite a few, actually. It doesn't take up too much memory. I suppose because it's all linking to external contents, right? It's linking to like website addresses that are hashed rather than the actual detail of the proposal being on chain. So that saves some memory.
I mean, you can always mitigate that with the governance action deposit. That's what it was for. But
Yeah. But
if
even with deposits, if we're talking about a worldwide system, how many governance actions are going to be online at one time? And then given that there might be so many online at one time, how do you actually support a DREP? Because you might not agree with everything they vote on. So you
no,
might have to stand
well, everyone
you
can
might you
everyone
might
can.
have to stand yourself you'll have to stand yourself up as a DREP if you want to be actually represented,
You don't have
which
to.
is which is possible, which is nice.
About the governance state, you don't have to be a DREP to submit a vote. You don't even have to register as one to submit any kind of vote you want. You only need a state key.
Really?
Yep.
So wait, so anyone can vote in any governance action
Yes.
regardless of
No, not vote.
Sure.
Anyone can submit a governance action.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about the vote. So I'm specifically talking about the vote.
Oh,
So if you're delegating to a DREP and you're watching their votes and there's like 20 governance actions on chain and you agree with like 4 out of 6 things they voted on and 2 things you disagree, then the only way to really represent yourself is to stand yourself up as a DREP and vote how you'd actually vote. So I guess it sort of nudges people towards being their own representative of their own ADA.
well, it
Which
depends. I
is
mean, it depends on, there's a lot of social in there, eh? If you can talk with your D-rep if you know who it is. Well, I hope you know who it is, but there's going to be a lot of
as it
conversations.
as it stands, you can't update your vote, right? So once you've voted, it's just done. You can't convince your DREP to change their vote now, can you?
Can I? I haven't tested that. I'm sure
Can
you
you
can.
update your vote? Can you change your vote?
I'm going to try it. Let's try it. Okay, so I voted. Hold on. I voted abstain on the first one. That I remember. Yes, I did. Okay, let's try to vote. Yes. Let's do that. Okay, we'll vote yes on this one. That's a great question, and I don't know the answer, so I'll try it. Index 0, and I changed my mind for yes. Okay, I get
Is
no,
that index here?
no,
It is index here. Yeah, it is.
I get no error message. and eventually it should change. So yeah, as it is right now, yeah, that was my concern because they added this deposit to make sure that we don't spam the chain. But if you can still spam the chain with a single deposit, that's a problem. Because as it is right now on testnet, the governance state file is 828 kilobytes, which is not too bad, but it's the testnet and we're only like barely 30 people on there. There's not many people on
It
testnet.
changed. It just changed to yes.
Did it?
Oh, it changed?
Oh,
Okay.
sweet. So I can change my mind.
That's kind of cool in one respect, but in another
I mean,
respect,
no, I mean it should be. I think
in
that's just
another respect,
logical.
it's kind of not cool. It's cool in one way because you can persuade your D-rep to change their vote, but it's not cool in another way because a D-rep could wait until the very end point of a governance action proposal and then change their vote before anybody can change their delegation away from them and have that support right at the last second
Um,
against what people actually support.
okay, so
Like,
you mean having a no vote would mean that the governance section would reach its expiration, but right before that happens, you switch your vote to cross the
And
threshold.
you switch your vote to pass threshold, and then you bring all of the delegation along with you that
or
previously.
more likely you tell everybody, I'm voting no against this, so everybody delegate to me because I'm a no
Yeah,
vote. You can go on chain
and
and
you,
look
and
at
you
it.
and you actually do vote no, and it appears on chain as no, and everybody thinks, "Oh, great, this guy voted no," and then at the last second you go, "Yes." Now,
Yes.
the only way to mitigate that is to have an extra period of time where people can review and redelegate, which is what they did during the mainnet poll for the SPOs. Right, there was this ridiculous redelegation phase that didn't make any sense because
Yes,
people.
because I'm gonna go and redelegate to a different SPO for
Yeah,
Cardano
yeah.
Foundation's poll.
No,
But at least it highlighted the need for something like a D-rep, right? Because it was like, well, you're not going to move SPO just for the sake of a vote because like you've got relationships there, or so
yeah.
like it would be better to have a separate system for that, which is possibly what they were trying to highlight. Hopefully, what they were trying to highlight instead of being naive enough to think it was a good idea. But uh, yeah, so if there's an extra period of time after which. But the problem is, if there's so many things being voted on at once and they all have different end times, it's very difficult to keep track of all that and make sure that you move after the redelegation. Unless all governance proposals had to be submitted by a set date, but then they might have different deadlines. Although at the moment they don't. It's all a universal deadline, isn't it?
Oh, well, I don't think we can avoid that.
Sorry, I overwhelm people with these queries, but it does interest me, like how complex this really is, especially when multiple things are being voted on at once.
I don't think we can avoid that, but that can be verified, I think.
So the lesson is be your own D rep and just vote with your own money and just ignore everyone else. Just be yourself.
Or join a DAO as a join a DREP DAO so that you can get other people to enjoy your influence, and then you can each vote
Yeah,
on what you care about.
yeah, I guess. Um, but again, you're subject to the whims of other people there again because they could just go
Yeah, I know.
and rug pull you on your vote or your consensus. So the only way to really vote for by yourself is vote by yourself. But at least you can. I can get a D-rep. I have a D-rep ID, so it's on my Twitter profile.
Well, you can always get the result afterwards, right? I mean, if your D-rep does what you say it's going to do, he can. Of course he can. But afterwards, you can check the enacted governance
Yeah,
action,
yeah, but it's just
and
whether or not these things get ratified.
yeah,
You
you,
get rug pulled by your
you
D-rep
still
most times.
yes
You're like,
on this particular action, yes, you still do. I agree. But hey, we get rugged every day by our politicians. But we
That's
get,
true.
we
They'll
get
talk in public about what they're going to do, and then they'll just get in office, and yep, it doesn't matter anymore. At least you can judge them by their actions over time and see who sticks to what they stick to, right, or is public about what they're going to do. But it's making me more and more convinced just to stand up as my own D-rep and just vote occasionally on what I want to vote on and abstain from everything else manually.
I'm more curious about the our actual power during the bootstrap because the bootstrap, I think the only D-reps who's going to be able to vote properly are the ones going to have the biggest take. And
Is it the top 100 to begin with, or is it a lower amount than that?
I don't know.
It,
I didn't grab any metrics from, especially Intersec. I'm not too much informed. I applied for the MCC.
I also don't
I
think
did
it doesn't
apply, but
count.
I didn't get no comeback.
Is it that it doesn't count, or that it isn't rewardable?
What's that?
Is it
I think it's
only
that
the
doesn't
top?
count.
That's very difficult as well because then you can't vote with your own money. You're being
I
forced to
I don't
support.
like yeah, I don't like the plan. They seem to think it's necessary. I'm personally not a fan of it,
Well,
but
it sounds more like a
kind
technical
of
reason. The reason they probably give is
right.
to do with memory management rather than reality. So
Oh, who's there? Hey, that's Shona.
Hey, what's
How's it
going on, Mike?
going? Hey.
Nice, good, good. Sorry, I just got in. I was out doing something. I saw you were still on, so I decided to jump in and say hello.
We were doing some interesting things. We found a glitch in the matrix.
Yes.
Yep.
I could explain to you real quick. I made a
Sure.
nice drawing with my super whiteboard paint.
it's a wonderful diagram. It's very clear.
That's, yeah, so that's the that's one of my best. I'm gonna make an NFT out of that. So the thing is, if you do a proposal here, okay, the proposal is linked to the
You're
proposal
not
ID.
you're not screen sharing yet.
What's that?
Are you? You're not sharing your screen. I don't see it
He's
at least.
screaming.
Am
You're
I?
gonna have
I'm
to.
not. Am I? I'm not.
No, he is. I'm looking at it. You got to go look for it somewhere. There's two
Oh,
of us
hold on.
screen sharing at the same
Okay.
time.
Right. Maybe you should. You. Maybe you want to
I'll
I'll
stop
drop mine.
yours.
I see. Okay, so I have. I see. I got it now. I got it. I'm good. Thank you. Perfect.
There's his wonderful paint
Yep.
diagram.
Go ahead, Mike.
So,
Nice.
so here's the glitch. I'll zoom like that. Okay. So if you create a proposal, it's linked to your ID. Normally, what you do is you transact to yourself, right? So you have one transaction in, one transaction out, one output, one input, one output. And normally, that's why every time your transaction ID has the index 0. But if from the same transaction you submit a proposal, and on the output side of things, you send money to other wallets, then your proposal is going to be linked to all those three. And it's going to duplicate and triplicate and do that on a single proposal.
That's it. That's interesting because one of the hard fork proposals has 9 indexes from 0 through 9.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is going to split the vote.
You saw that too, right? And it
Yes.
has the very same ID.
Right.
So my concern is the goal of the deposit was to hold people from doing that. And now you can spam the chain with a single proposal and many outputs.
Right.
Right now, as it is on testnet, the governance state is 828 kilobytes, but there's only like barely 30 people playing with it. If
I think. Uh-huh.
so, that could be a way to spam the chain.
Point of order or question on that. Can each one of those transaction indexes be a different thing to vote on with actual governance data in it? Because previously you were talking about it being index 1 is the actual proposal, and then index 2 and 3 and 4 are just random arbitrary sends of ADA from one wallet to another, which means they're not actually anything. But could you actually submit proposal 1, 2, 3, 4 with proposal data under
Yeah.
each index.
It's
So you are actually taking advantage of one deposit, multiple outputs for multiple proposals in one.
that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. The same information. It's like a copy paste. Oh wait. Uh,
So I voted on a lot of those, Mike. I mean, if you notice, I voted, I think, on like 6 of the 9 different ones. So in that situation, what would happen? I mean,
Well, this is the problem because which one's the real one?
exactly.
And if multiple voting happens from the same drep ID hash, then you could have multiple yes votes on the
yeah.
same proposal if you tried to aggregate it. So
Right.
how do you filter out the duplicates?
So if I clear my screen here, as you can see, that's the index 1 of the hard fork initiation that we talked about. We all tried to vote on it. We can also change our vote if we wanted to. And if I go into the second one, which is the index 1, then it's not the same vote for the same action with the same parameters, everything.
That's me. I think the no vote, the top no vote is mine, that one. The 3, both of them.
7048.
That guy right there, yeah. I think that's me. Yeah, 3B3.
Not sure. I think it might be Mike because we were playing with this live, and I don't think there were any votes on it yet. I voted. He voted.
That's okay. I mean, if he wanted to, he could vote yes on
He could have.
on the index too. I mean, that's
I voted,
very
well, I think
permissible.
I voted on almost all of them, of those indexes, like 2 days ago I went through. And I voted on 0, on 1. One of them didn't go through, on 9.
But again, my
Oh,
concern was that
I
it's a
think it not
thousand.
going through that it not going through may not have been it not going through though. It may have just been like there not being enough
yes. Yeah.
infrastructure on the chain to keep it all running properly. Because my first one didn't go through when I tried to do the second index, and then it went again a second
Okay.
time and worked perfectly. So it might have just been a chain fail because of lack of SPOs.
I
Oh,
think
so it's hard to read yours because it's in the blue, but you're showing here,
Oh.
Mike, is that they're sending ADA, and that's why they're getting the multiple index. Is that right there as a deposit?
yeah, they're sending ADA to other wallets.
Uh-huh.
That's what I would say, or
which
Lovelace.
creates more
Yes.
transaction indexes, which creates a
And
split.
it would
Do you,
bypass the idea of having a deposit to hold the people from spamming the chain. You can actually spam the chain with a single transaction and
Right.
many outputs.
do you think this fellow who did this was doing this on purpose to test this scenario?
If that's so, he didn't report it. So
Nefarious activity on the
there's
chain.
some, yes, definitively. So I was trying to reproduce that as before Johnny interfered. So
Sorry.
the idea is I tried to do it with transaction build. And transaction build, you have to mention a change address. If you do that and use different outputs afterwards, it's going to link the governance action to the change address, and
Okay.
it's going to
How
work.
many
I
how many change addresses can you string together
one,
at the only one? Okay.
only
So
one
you
with the
did,
So,
transaction build.
so it's mitigated against in transaction build, but it's
Yeah,
not mitigated against in transaction build raw.
build raw,
Is the
right?
problem.
Because
ah,
in build raw you have no change address. You have to only mention transaction outputs, and I believe
uh,
the mechanism doesn't make the difference. That's what I think. But I didn't.
I don't know if this is related or not, but Martin was upset about the deprecation of build raw in some way, shape, or form in the SanchoNet subgroups. Is it related to this? Were they trying to remove the support for transaction build raw specifically to stop this from happening? Or was it
Well,
something else?
I don't think they're.
There
No,
was,
they're
there was
just.
Martin was upset by transaction build raw not being supported in some way,
y-
shape, or form. I may have misunderstood his complaint though.
No, they are
I think it was,
delaying it. They,
I think it was to do with the eras and how the transactions are written.
I yeah. I think we need transaction raw, but the way I understand it is they delayed it. They just prioritized transaction build, but it's
And this is the end result potentially, because if they don't work in parallel on these things, they can
mm,
create this ability for people to create falsified or duplicate proposals. But as long as we report it and raise it as an issue, hopefully they'll be able to code something. But what could you code? How do you figure it out? How do you make sure that only one proposal per deposit occurs?
They could track it, like you said, only with the transaction ID itself and ignoring the index.
Problem though is if people can still vote on multiple indexes and you aggregate that, you also then have to add filtering to make sure there's no duplicates. And then if people vote yes, no, and abstain on different indexes, which one is the real one that they voted on?
I'm more concerned about spamming the chain. If there's 300 outputs in the same transaction, it's going to be,
Yeah, it could be a memory attack on nodes.
yeah, a big one, big time.
What are the purpose of indexes on the action?
Not on actions. I don't think it's really a thing that's necessary for actions. Just in general, base UTXO, multiple indexes, multiple outputs. I think it's
Okay.
just because build raw supports it, and
Couldn't they? You couldn't just say only pick 0.
so have a rule in the actual listing of what can be voted on to always have it be 0,
Right.
and then it automatically filters whenever people search for what to vote on. It
Something
ignores anything above 0.
Right. I mean, unless there's a use case. I don't know. Is there a use case for things above 0? I don't know if there is, or is it just a artifact of, using an array or something?
It seems like it's an artifact. I don't know if they intended people to have multiple indexes for reasons. In the future, there might be something that makes it worthwhile doing it. But right now, it seems to be supposed to be one index, one proposal, one deposit, one vote.
That's what it seems like. Yeah.
So ignore anything above 0 is
Right.
a shorthand. But people might still be misled and convinced to
Right.
vote for 1 or 2 or 3.
Right. And then you kind of like lose your vote. It's like burning your vote or something, right?
Can you guys hear me now?
Which has
Yeah. Oh, yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Neil Cornelius said here, that is a social hack. If you misdirect people and tell them go there, vote there, and then your vote, and then you can look it up. Oh, but you wouldn't be able to look it up if you were filtering it out. You wouldn't be able to see your vote, so you wouldn't
know you
have
did
the
something wrong.
confirmation.
Yeah.
You know something was wrong. Yeah.
I don't
So
think
that might be a way to do it. Only support index 0.
I may have missed it. Just did you address, Mike? Then is it not possible to have like slightly different outputs for each index? Like for instance, say we should provide grant funding to governance action is we should provide grant funding from the Treasury for this program, and should we give them like 1,000 ADA, 2,000 ADA, 3,000 ADA, 4,000 ADA, 5,000 ADA. So you vote on
No.
whichever index.
I think
You
I
can't do
think
that,
the only
right?
way to
Because
do I think the only way to do that kind of preference voting would be, at least based on the original design spec, would be to run multiple concurrent proposals and
Yeah.
see
Mhm.
what people vote on, which I think is really cool. Because if you could have multiple individual 0 index proposals for the same thing but split into different, as you say, amounts that could be withdrawn, then you get to see a real preference vote, because people can vote on that one and that one and that one in support and that one and that one in against, and then you can construct a preference vote off the back of that group. Now it would be
Well, I
really
mean,
good.
I mean, it would actually not. It would actually be pretty feasible. You would just have to have, as part of the governance action, to spend one particular UTXO so that only one of those governance actions would be able to spend that UTXO, and whichever one is first past the post spends it, and then the rest of them could not possibly take place. Right? Or am I off base here?
I mean, they can all pass. Is the problem? If you say this amount and
Not
this
if there's
amount and this
if there's a single UTXO on chain that wants to be spent, you spend it, that UTXO no longer is there to be spent, and the other governance actions will not be possible because you've already been, that UTXO has been spent by one. Wouldn't that work?
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
it's going over my head because each proposal is separately produced.
No, yeah, well, technically, it's only a way to track it. You can still spend the transaction output even after.
I think you'd have to add a meta layer to group proposals under a separate thing so that they're all linked, as only one of them can actually win.
One thing's for sure, you can
So
only
there must be a hierarchy.
one thing's for sure, you can only duplicate it. You cannot, let's say, treasury withdrawal. You can't have 3 outputs and they can't be different. You can't say this one says 100, this one 1,000, and the next one 100,000.
All right,
It,
we're getting a little bit. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. What we're while this is a rabbit trail, I really want to continue it for just a moment if you'll indulge me. um, okay, so let's say that you have a let's say you have an NFT and the and there you have a governance action to actually burn that NFT. Could you do that and then say like each of these governance actions that are concurrently running are to pull a different amount of ADA out of the treasury and to burn this NFT so that the NFT will no longer be on chain. And then, so that way, whichever one of those governance actions is first past the post wins, it burns the NFT. The rest of the governance actions, therefore, cannot possibly execute because it would be impossible for them to burn the NFT. And part of the governance action is you first burn the NFT and then it releases. I mean, that's, yeah.
So that's the way to group them together based on what actually happens at the end of
Yeah,
the.
that's kind of, yeah.
But is that computationally possible? Can we actually link
Is it
a
reasonable for us
governance
to try
proposal
as
to an
well?
NFT burn? Huh?
What's
What?
that? Oh, is it reasonable for us to even attempt this as well is also a question.
Well, I love the idea of preference voting. I've talked about it a lot. Like, if you allow everyone to give their yes to multiple options, then you get the highest consensus possible. If people are acting honestly and actually voting yes on what they support. And of course, people are going to be strategic in voting, but that's what they do anyway. So you might as well allow for the option of people to say yes, 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 where they actually mean it, and no, no, where they don't, across multiple proposals. But the requirement would be there to be some linking agent. So in your case, the linking thing is the NFT. But maybe they could add a thing to have like a meta proposal and then all of the options underneath. But that's future stuff.
I don't
Can
know.
you explain a little bit more about like what is the race condition that we're talking about? Like,
well, in one example would be if we want to do a treasury withdrawal for a specific project, do you want the treasury withdrawal to be 100 or 200 or 300 or 400 ADA for this, and what's the level of support we're giving it, and can you granulate what people support and get it? And I first pass the post as Neo Cornelius says here. What's the name I should call you? Is it Neo Cornelius?
Oh, Adam.
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 Okay.
Yeah, this is Adam Rush.
It's Adam Rush.
Yeah.
I was in.
I met you, I think, in Edinburgh, but
Yeah, we were in Edinburgh. Yeah, good.
but yeah. So as it stands, because they're not linked together, each one of those proposals 100, 200, 300, 400 ADA could all pass. So it would end up being the total rather than the limited amount based on preference.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, that's what
I
you have
see.
to have that. Yeah.
And that's the idea here is that if multiple people put in proposals for the same kind of action independently, okay.
you're gonna split the vote, but you might not split the vote at all. You might encourage people to vote for all of them just to get the maximum amount of
Right.
support, and then that sort of gets around it gets around issues about treasury withdrawal limits and that.
Man, this is another social hack we have to watch out for. Then
There's so many, and there's so many in this system
Yeah.
because it's too basic, right? But then they're talking about minimum viable. But then what's the viable part of minimum? If it isn't, if people can mess with it in these ways, is it viable? If it is minimum, but I gotta say, I love this shit, man. I love it. It's just they're just not willing. It's too complicated, right? Because you'd have to code this upon this upon this to mitigate every problem, and it's too much work, so they're saying like let's do something at least. But
I
what
mean,
disasters?
I can see Adams. I mean, like if the Treasury minted the NFT, let's say, right, and said the first person to, burn this NFT is the one that wins the Treasury withdrawal for this epoch, right? That's kind of the idea. I mean,
I like that idea. Or you could build it into the system where there's some
yeah,
meta tag,
right.
and then the tag connects to everything else, and then you can have them relate to each other, but it requires more coding.
Right. I mean, something I was thinking about when this came up with Catalyst recently, or last fund, is I mean, I was wondering if there's a way to make a threshold be what elevates a proposal to even get to a voting place. So anybody could spam the system with proposals, but enough people would have to say, I want to vote on this one. And that would then bring it to another standing where it would be in contention for an actual vote, some almost like a mempool
Yeah.
of proposals.
I think Nudes talked about that at one point as well. It's
Okay.
like because they have that for like what was it, research proposals or something? Like they have this first layer where they actually verify whether or not something's viable for people to
Right.
make a decision on, and then after going through that first filter,
Right.
then gets voted on. But then who do you put in the filter position?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It would be voting by community, so it would be people just would begin to say, "Hey, I
Who
like
votes in
this."
the vote?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
what would be the draft proposal? It's like a draft bill, I guess. And
Yeah.
then you make amendments to that and send it back and forth. You'd have the equivalent of a
I
well
mean,
in the UK it would be the equivalent of the House of Parliament and the House of Lords, and there'd be
right.
people from the House of Lords sending it back and going no, not suitable for you need to change this and this.
Yes. And then I also thought it would help people from spamming proposals because sure, you could throw a bunch into the pool, but you could only sort of spend enough energy to promote one or two, so that would also keep like the spamming down. But
But who are the filter people, and is there a role for that built into this system at the moment? There isn't. It's just straight to vote, right? So there's D reps and CC members and
right,
SPOs, but there's no pre-vote folk. But maybe it
right.
needs to be added.
Yes, there was so much. I mean, there was one particular person who spam proposed. It felt like spam proposed Catalyst in Fund 10. So I just like, and
You gotta name names.
no, I don't want to name names. No, I don't want to name names. I mean, I think he was pretty well. I think it was Ben Amun is the gentleman.
Okay.
Um,
Oh
and he was
dear.
pretty well called out, and all of his proposals were downvoted. So it didn't work for him because the
Oh, but the
community.
time vote's going away.
Oh,
Right.
you're talking about Catalyst, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know, I know who it is. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Oh,
He had like 30 proposals.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, everyone called him up. I
Yeah.
don't
What?
think.
Yeah.
Catalyst
Which
just took away half our voting power.
say that again?
The Catalyst team just took away half our voting power.
Exactly. I heard that downvotes were weighted more. Somebody posted that. Was that true? I don't know.
I heard a rumor.
I heard a
that.
rumor that they were saying that they were like 3-1. Every downvote counted 3 compared to an upvote.
I have no idea. I don't engage with Catalyst. I apologize to anyone who's a fan. I voted once and realized I got paid and was like, "Oh, this is broken. I shouldn't be paid for my vote," and never voted again.
You're too
Carrot,
intense.
carrot and stick,
Like you're just encouraging someone to come along, vote once on something random, claim their money, and walk away. It's like there's no way to know anything's legit at that point.
That did happen, I think, in Fund 7. Someone just came in and voted on a ton of stuff and walked away with a big chunk of money. But it's learning. We're learning how it works.
It got reduced to just an amount rather than based on how many, and
Right.
then But even then, you're still encouraging someone to come along, vote once, claim their money, and not actually pay any attention.
Yeah.
I just don't see. I don't paying people to vote paying DREPs is also controversial in my mind, but that's, you know.
Yeah, I don't like the idea myself, but I don't know.
Apparently, it could be
Mm,
expensive to be a DREP, right? You have some infrastructure you have to run, you have to travel to go to meetings and stuff, it sounds like.
I mean, there's Zoom calls and like it's a node, run a node, or even just a wallet by the time it's built out.
Hopefully, that'd be nice, just a wallet. That'd be amazing.
Well, that's what I was yelling and screaming about in Edinburgh. It was like, please, please, wallet people. This needs, in order for this to even possibly work, all the wallets need to support it. There needs to be a standard. There needs to be information available to everyone to engage with, and it needs to be parsable and readable. And I
Yes.
was like, if this doesn't end up in front of people, then it's not a thing.
The other part that really needs to change is in the proposal process. Like when you're looking at something to vote on, a government action, right? You have no one's putting the URL or the hash in there. I think the only person who did it was Mike. But no one else is even doing it because I know we're just testing the features.
It's important.
Yes, it is important, but it's obviously not easy, or else everybody else would be doing it too. It's very cumbersome to do that, so no one's doing it but you.
Well, if yeah, I guess.
I mean,
if
Wait, is this the link in the government proposal to what the proposal actually is you're talking about?
yes.
I saw a lot of Rick rolls.
You saw, yes, I saw a lot of Rick rolls too. Yes, well, a few, but the majority have nothing. There's nothing in the anchor.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pull up the list, Mike. Pull up the list of proposals. You'll see. There's no.
Yeah.
There's.
Well, if it's a parameter change request, if they can put that in, you may not need.
Well, the parameter changes you can see right in the right in CLI, like it just shows up, which is nice. But the other stuff you got to link out.
Yeah. And if it's a treasury withdrawal request, you definitely want to link out the justification. Yes.
Yeah, you want to be able to read it, before you vote. So like moving around too much is going to be cumbersome, right? Like then trying to remember, like what hash number you're voting on when you come out of the URL, and is it this one? I mean, right?
Well, I mean, if the wallet interface is abstract this away, and just
yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm supporting that idea. We need this very, very, very much.
It won't work otherwise. It needs to be right there.
There we go. Look.
A little tab on your wallet says.
There's none. Scroll up. There's not a single. There's not. Where's the links? No, everywhere. No. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you make it a required thing?
Yeah. You might just smart people. Sorry to interrupt you, Mike. Smart people just vote no on anything that doesn't provide information, but maybe not. Maybe some people would just vote yes because Mike posted it in the chat.
Give me money. Vote on this treasury proposal to go to this wallet address. Yeah. No justification. Just
what is that?
That no, that's not gonna pass. That's something else. That's an update committee, but since that's weird. That's the number of epoch for the term limit of each of those key hash, but they go way above the minimum or the maximum actually. So technically, even if this pass, it's going to be invalid. But I believe it shouldn't even be there at first.
And they wanted to go live on mainnet before the end of 2023. I am guaranteeing it. Like I don't know, but I just feel in my bones that they wanted to have this live before the end of the year.
They should not rush that. Look at that. That's another one. Look at that. Governance action ID, the index 0, and right under it you have the very same.
Index 1.
Index 1.
There's 3 of them, or is there just 2? Just
index
2.
2.
Another one. Yep. Look,
index
more again.
3. Index
these are
4.
Yep.
5.
It's gonna go all the way to 9, I bet.
6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God.
That's it. So it's the same. It's the same person, probably, right? Can you check who? Is there a way to check what wallet submitted that?
Well, you can go and look at.
Well,
you have an Explorer you could go and find the actual transaction hash and the
Yeah.
You have the
original.
hash. Well, I have the hash of the stake address. No, the hash from the stake verification key of the proposer.
I had remote access to an SQL database of SanchoNet that was given to me by Ada Northpool, but since the respin, I don't know if it's still valid. Let's have a look. Because that's been fun. I've been coming up with queries to help the website side of things, so that they can show stuff. I was able to uncover what the index was or the ID was in the database for the abstain drep and the no confidence drep, so it can be reported on. But the trouble is, when they did the respin, the ID number of that changed. So obviously that won't be the case on mainnet because once it's defined, it's defined. But each respin, they change the ID number on the database of who the auto abstain or who the no confidence drep is. So you've got to update your query for the website each time they do a respin.
Oh man, I would like to reproduce that. You see how much information there is in there?
You know, like if you want to front run a vote here, I'm thinking, you know what I mean?
Oh god! Oh no!
Already?
Was it too early for that?
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Were you
Hey,
here when I was theorizing about D-reps changing their vote in the very last second? Because you can change your vote, right? So you
Yeah.
got if a D-rep votes a certain way and promotes that they voted a certain way, gets a lot of delegation. Turncoats, rug
Yes.
pulls at the last minute, changes
can.
their vote, and they've got all this
I know they can.
delegation support.
I'm
Like
sure it's
that's
going to happen, right?
Yes,
Why not? Why
they
wouldn't
can.
Oh,
it
it's
happen?
absolutely going to happen.
It is, but uh, people will
always
find
runs
out.
like this.
People will find out, and they will
So,
leave.
Yeah, but they find out for that D-rep ID, and then they spin up a new one and pretend to be someone else. Right?
yeah. So the other thing I said, would you guys like to see like the the tally of a vote before it's closed? Like would you want to be able to see like, you know, it's likely to fail, likely to pass, or would you keep it blind until it's done?
I'm a big fan of live view. I know people say that changes the output, and people game it and they watch until the end and then vote whatever the most popular thing. I don't really
Yeah.
care about that. What I care about is people can see what's happening, which
Yeah.
has never been possible before. To watch it live
Yeah.
is fascinating to me, and I think it's worth
You
any
can. You
potential.
you can. Technically, at the end of the epoch, if the threshold is crossed, your governance action gets ratified. That being said, you can see all the stakes delegated to every D-reps, and it's a metric that's on the governance state as well. So if you filter it, you can have a total amount of stake with each
The
D-rep.
an Ada Stats website that gives a live stake view of what's supported is just chef's kiss. I love that idea. People obviously are
Yeah.
going to say it's horrible for governance because it means people will wait till the end, watch what the most popular is, only vote at the last minute, make sure that
Well,
they.
it opens up the world for like a whale saying drep A, you know, look, I need you to push this over the line for me or whatever, right? I mean, it gives that sort of gaming availability now. You could
It's based on actual Ada. The gaming,
yeah.
I mean, you're just convincing people to vote, which
Yes.
is
With
not the
cash.
end. Oh, you mean buy my vote? Well, that's
Yes, with
gonna happen
cash.
anyway. That's going to
Exactly.
happen anyway, even if you don't show the live result. I mean, it gives them more of
Well,
an
it,
incentive, I guess. It's like,
yes,
oh, if you
because
just do this, give me this money.
right. Yes, because you know it's
But
gonna
like,
happen. Yes. Otherwise you're less incentivized because you don't know it's blind. You're like, I don't know if I'm close or not, but if you need a few thousand to get over the line,
It just means less people will be paid. They'll pay off just a couple people instead of a whole bunch of
a
people.
whole bunch
yeah,
of people.
they know exactly how much they need, right? So they'll
Yes.
target the larger people.
Yes.
So I was talking about this. Remember whenever Adam did the token vote with the little token that you bought that was linked to your stake key, but then you could sell that and sell your voting power to someone else. And Nudes bought one And that was like 14 ADA's worth of stake, but still, he proved the concept, and I was complaining on Twitter about it. But
Yeah.
I call that a black hole of governance, because if you sell your vote power in ADA, you're increasing the amount of vote power you have for the next time you sell it. So you're creating this infinite loop of influence on the network by just selling your voter power every time. Now that's a black hole of governance is a problem.
Yeah. And then the other thing is the borrowing, right? You can borrow now.
People borrowing against their other tokens or NFTs in order to be able to
Yes,
vote.
and able
Yeah.
to vote and then returning it within an epoch, right? Or whatever, a short amount of time. I mean, you could go to,
And then there's all sorts of problems.
yeah. And it
Okay,
has,
a DAO, a
yes,
DAO that sells tokens out of its treasury to decide how it will vote, and then they just keep issuing more tokens
yes,
and doing exactly what you said.
brutal.
75.
It's
More
so,
people join.
but like it does reflect real world politics, right? Cash for
Yeah,
vote.
for
So
sure,
I
for
don't know.
sure.
Adam just wanted to legitimize it on chain and make it public. It's like people do it anyway, so let's just allow people to sell their vote power.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard this talked about in a long time, but I remember when I first was introduced to Cardano that the idea was that exchanges weren't going to have voting power, but that's gone away, right? They can vote now.
Yeah, they can, because there's no way to determine, right?
Right.
But they have a policy where they don't, right?
That they don't, right? It was supposed to be some sort of special enterprise address, is what I thought. They were going to have an enterprise.
Oh no,
I
the
think
key.
that
Yeah,
the enterprise addresses so that they were supposed to stay on Byron era
Oh,
addresses. I think that was the idea.
but no, yeah,
but then they're not going to make all that lovely staking ADA from their clientele if they do that. So of course they're going to
right,
move everybody over to the right wallet to get extra money for themselves.
right. So I mean, that just doesn't. I mean, I don't understand that there's so many problems right now with like there's a lot of people are complaining about should we go forward with the vote? Should we not go forward with the vote? And I'm like
Well,
nothing's really going to change because
no,
the,
I have a lot of hope. So I actually am advising a student group right now here at the university who are going to be getting Uniswap governance tokens from A16Z.
okay,
And A16Z actually delegates out their governance tokens to people to vote on how Uniswap should be governed because they do not want the heat of controlling a DeFi application from like the SEC and also just people in general saying that they are in control of everything. So
right,
they are willing to just sort of say like, oh hey, let's go find some group of people who we can elevate in a good PR. It's like a good PR press, move,
yeah,
and make them have them just do the votes. And it's not like there's any secret agreement with the students that they should vote in a certain way, other than they just sort of count on the students to like be really interested in not blowing up the system. And I
right,
think that we can hopefully have like corporations and stuff that hold large amount of ADAs kind of want to do the same thing to sort of say like, okay, we're going to pick some D reps that are going to represent the community because we don't want the heat of being seen as controlling the network.
yeah.
I mean, they'll probably put their fingers on the scales when they can, but I think that for the large part, there will be
I
some
mean,
incentive to not do
if
that.
they're the one I'm really worried about is contingency staking, to be honest. Okay, so like why would a corporation vote against contingency staking? Well, because it doesn't make any, it makes perfect sense for them, but I think it's bad for the network overall. These are the sort of like they're not going to vote against their best interests, right? And they're like right now you and I can't speak for you, but I'm pretty sure everybody on this call has no influence in governance. Will have zero influence in governance because of
Relatively zero, yes,
yes,
relatively zero.
right? Because if you're not holding a billion ADA or 300 million or 500 million, you have no voice. You're not going to get anywhere, right?
Yeah, unless you delegate the D
Uh,
reps, but then of course they can mess with
well,
the vote.
depends. The contingent staking is gonna have to go through a hard fork because it's not an actual protocol parameter or it's not
Yeah,
on chain yet. So the SPOs will have to update their node, and if they refuse to do so,
Right.
then you don't have your contingent staking.
Right.
Then we
The SPOs are the
We decide.
then we have the potential for a Cardano Classic.
No, I'm just saying
Yes.
that it's meaningless to have a vote. That's what I always thought. They put those votes for hard forks, but if the SPOs doesn't want that hard fork, they
Yes.
just won't install the update. And
But
Exactly.
so many just slavishly do, right? The second it comes out, they install it and don't think about
But
the implications.
but not as many. I was surprised it takes people quite a long time to switch over, right? I mean, it's like usually like a very slow process. You get like 30% and then 40%.
most
You get up to
some SPO
70
don't know. They don't know.
quickly.
They're just waiting for the operator scripts to be ready for the update.
Yeah,
Sometimes it takes
that's the
weeks,
only
and
reason for a delay. They don't know how to
they
update
just
manually.
can't do it. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I
mean,
see. I see.
But I do build them and I look at the change logs and I'm interested in that stuff. So I upgrade relatively quickly, but I know what I'm doing when I
Yeah.
do that. You know, I'm not just randomly going up to the latest version just because.
0.
Or are you making your own proposal with multiple indexes now?
Am I? Yeah, I figured treasury withdrawal
Might
would
as
be
well join
best.
them. If you can't beat them, join them. Make false proposals.
Not gonna make the
Oh,
constitution. I'll make a treasury withdrawal one. Hey, if it works, I mean, I'll vote yes on each one of them, and if it works, am I gonna get that amount many times, or just once, or who knows? That'll be interesting. I suggest you vote yes on it as well.
Just post it in the chat. I'll vote yes. I don't need
That'd
to
be
read it.
funny.
Mike.
I'll, I'll go to I'll go to Van. I'll tell her, hey, I think I found a glitch in the matrix, and I can withdraw this much 10 times. Are you in? You'll be. Do you want to join me?
Yes.
just replace the lyrics to that song with "Split It," instead of "Whip It." It's
That
not too late to swip it. To split it good.
that'd be actually funny if you. I need.
So I had a solution for the no ADA burn. I found a way to burn ADA.
Oh no, there's plenty of ways to burn ADA. Like the people send it off to burn wallets. Burn mushrooms is one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
smart contracts with no way of getting black holes.
Yeah. That my solution was to write a smart contract that required that you could only withdraw from the smart contract if all of the tokens were returned to the smart contract.
You can just make it smart. The first lesson, which is very weird, the first lesson in Pluto's Pioneers program is how to create a smart contract that locks up ADA forever.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the first thing, and of course the snack folk use that, and they have the burnt mushrooms wallet or burnt snack wallet, and I monitor that, and it's over 5,000 ADA now of burnt ADA just sitting there, and it makes me sad every time. I'm like the little Indian advert with the American Indian with the tear. It's like, look at all that burnt ADA.
That's less than I thought there'd be actually.
Well, that's just one burn wallet. There's multiple burn wallets out there. If someone did a tracking website, they could do a track of how much locked up ADA there is. But yeah, that's just Snack.
Yeah, Snick has their burn wallet. I mean, I guess a few of the coins do, right? How close have you gotten, Mike?
Yeah, so I've got a problem right now.
What happened?
As I'm building the transaction using transaction build raw, I want to then calculate my fees. But
Ah,
if I do that, it
it's only for
says
one.
it says here unwitnessed transaction Conway error. Expected one here.
Oh, because
Transaction
you're
body Conway. And now it's
so how do you think this guy did it or this gal did it? This is because
Oh,
right.
wait, that's just the error that I got, and then the second time I did it, it worked fine. So it might
Okay.
just be a density issue.
wait. I think I got it. Now I can't. I don't have the Conway here.
That was what Martin was talking about, maybe, like the lack of support in transaction build raw.
Yeah, that's probably it. Hold on. If I gotta know CLI just transaction without using it as a top function, transaction build raw. Do I have it? No, it's not in there. Hmm. Hmm.
Can you build it without using Conway? Can you just, or is it a no?
If I
The
if I
raw,
if
yeah,
I
go
don't
ahead.
use Conway, I won't be able to add the proposal file.
Because you can only like make state keys, make all that without Conway, right? Those are the legacy commands.
No, I could.
So
Well, I could build draw. It's just that the option proposal file is only
that's the
on.
one that's missing. That's the only one
Yes,
that's on Conway. Yeah, the rest are legacy. Yeah.
and since that's the one I want to replicate, but building the transaction raw works. It's just calculating the fees.
Could you guess and overpay? Can you just
I
overpay?
I thought
That's
about
what I
it.
was about.
I could totally overpay that. Let's do
You
this.
can always overpay. Yes, I've done that
I mean,
before.
I mean, if you want to like span the system, why calculate perfectly? You're acting like a criminal.
Sure. Why not?
Why
Let's do
not?
this. Let's think like a criminal. All right,
Yes, just get it done. However, don't worry about it. Push it.
Who cares? Spend the money. You got to spend money to make money in this world.
That's
So
right.
I've sent the link to the snack burn wallet so you can have a look.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
5.92 K8 at the moment in there.
Okay,
Just
Not
one
bad.
burn wallet.
let's calculate that. All right. So I got the amount in my UTXO here, expression, this minus the fee. I think that's what I did. Yeah. 3, that's good. What else? What else? I want an output of 10 ADA. And that's it. That's my change. All right. Let's see. If that works, that's gonna be funny. Okay. So let's
Cross your
see.
fingers. Come on, team.
Okay. So far so good. Let's sign it. Sticky and the. Okay, that should do it. That's good. That's good. That's good. Let's sign this. Okay, and submit. No. What's going on? Come on.
Value not conserved, it doesn't balance out the inputs to the outputs.
Oh.
Value not conserved.
There's a value that's wrong in the balancing of the out and in. Could be to do with that +1, whatever, million or whatever it is.
What this? The transaction out?
Well, you got to balance it out so that it's 0 in total, right? Plus and minus. So have you done that properly with the fee along with what needs to come back and what's against what's actually the balance of your wallet?
Yeah, I believe it did.
Or the particular UTXO you're spending.
Yeah, it's this one. That's the UTXO I'm
And
spending.
it will balance out to 0.
The index is there. That's the amount. Maybe I missed something. Expression, the amount minus my. I'll just copy paste to be 100% sure. There you go. And the fees that I generated myself.
So smart.
That's
I mean, you might as well gift the treasury, right?
Might as well.
Well, it's a deposit. It's in there normally.
it's a tip, but you know, he's taking it all back in his treasure withdrawal action, so
Exactly, it's worth the cost.
definitely worth the cost.
It's good. That should do it.
Just before you do this, Mike, I want to go anon on my account so I can disappear, okay?
Wait, what?
When you do this on mainnet, we have to, you know, switch to anon accounts so that we can really escape with the money. Send it over to midnight, mix it up a little bit, get a few end coins, then we'll be back.
Then we need to vote on it first.
Okay, I'll take a loan out on Optum to get enough ADA to vote a win. See?
Why it doesn't work? What's going on? Value not conserved, you take so.
What does that mean?
Mirror value, multi-asset from mean.
Maybe the fee's higher, man. The fee looks pretty small to me.
You think so? For
What
a
is that
proposal?
fee? That's in Lovelace, though, right?
Well, if
Your fee for the transaction.
if I build the very same from a transaction build,
Yeah, just do like a single and then multiply it by 4 or how many indexes you get closer.
hold on.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's 181,297. No, fair enough. I'm wrong. Oh dear. Well, there's something not value not conserved. Is there an NFT in there?
No. Somebody made it. Somebody made it. If I just get rid of that, like this, and use the change address, that should work. What is going on? Oh, right. That's not the right name. Treasury. You see? This is pretty small.
Yeah, okay. So the fees were high enough. But you know the fee now, so you might as well take
Yeah.
that.
Oh, should I try it with this?
Well, how many are you sending it to? How many indexes are you? How many change addresses?
Yeah, it looks like
Two.
only
I just tried with two.
Oh, okay.
There's index 0 and 1. It's just
Well,
for
I mean
testing.
that could be off then, right? Because that was 17 and 17 would be 30 something, and you just have 30, right?
What?
if there's two outputs, does it
If
increase
if,
the amount?
if there's two outputs, you're gonna increase by you're gonna double that or no? It's just gonna stay the same.
The fee?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You are right. I need to. Right. Okay.
The fee, you put it up to 4.
Witness override. Good point.
Low by like a few, by very few levels, right? It should be like 33 or something.
Good point.
33 is a good number, but let's go to 40.
Go to 40.
Big spenders on the chain.
Hmm. Yeah, it's slightly different.
17. But so what is that times 2, that number right there?
But with that here,
What is 17? No, what is 17,633
the
times
fees.
2?
Well, then you changed it to witness 2, right?
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes, witness override is the numbers of keys
Keys you're using, right?
I'm using.
So
That should be it.
well,
I think if I use this, maybe.
Just raise the fees a little bit. Try that higher. Go another 1,000 or 10,000. It's just test data. It's just test data.
It's on Cardano.
I'll get you some more. Don't worry about it.
Somehow I feel like the protocol doesn't want to let me. No, it's not gonna work. I have to recalculate that.
A speed transaction.
Oh, right, because then you have to redo that.
Yep.
You can see why people just use transaction build.
Well, hey, normally it works. It's just that right now, Sancho, it doesn't. On Sancho.
It's having a wee. Having a wee conniption.
I like transaction raw. Okay, then it and 4003. Whoops.
And then my
This. That's it. Oh, it's slightly different. It's not. It looks the same. No, it's not. Okay. Let's go. Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. All right. Oh,
Your comment?
I figured that would work. You know, we used to put zeros everywhere, and now they don't like it anymore. Okay, let me. Okay, now that's really interesting. Do you mind if I check something?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I'll do this. And if that is 0 here, that's what normally I would do. If I do this and I build my transaction, draft, and then I want to calculate the fees. Normally it works, but now they don't like it because we got a 0. So let's say I put values in there. Okay, that would be.
I'm getting flashbacks to doing NFT mints for people and transaction build raw. I had to do all this for changing metadata remotely before a policy expired, just to make sure everybody's metadata was the same, because there was a mistake in the first 40 something mints, and I had to go through and batch change and do all this with a multi JSON file as the input, and limit it to 20 NFTs per transaction and make sure to work out all the fees.
It works.
Yeah, I mean it all works, but it's I'm getting flashbacks.
I mean, it looks like it works. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Why? I don't know. Did they change it?
This was for block bones, by the way.
So,
I
okay,
meant
so
it.
just put the fees there. But I haven't changed the change address. That's weird. I have to change that too. What have they done? What have they done? Okay, let's calculate that.
IoT, what have you done?
Let's calculate. Okay, this minus those fee 190,229 minus 1080. And that's it. That's my new amount. I'll switch it here. And let's do this. Come on.
what's that, bud?
Easy.
Not yet. I'm gonna jump off right now, though.
Okay. Let's submit this. Let's submit this. Come on, come on. Whoa, no.
Yes,
This is an example of what we're trying to do.
it worked.
Okay, that's good so far. Let's. Come on, come on, come on. No.
Well, it's a different thing, though. Multi-asset from this file. No, it's the same.
No, it's the same.
How do you not conserve UTXO? What are you missing? Is
they
that
want-
query is that query still relevant? Run the query again to get the current balance in UTXO. Maybe you're using an out-of-date query. Should end A6E3 if it's not changed.
I think you said Cardano CLO there.
Oh, right. Cardano Clo. Address. Result of get payment.addr. That should.
Well, is it the same values above? It looks like it might be 545 at the end.
What if I just don't change it?
Dun,
That'd be
dun,
weird.
dun.
That'd be really weird.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, I don't change anything. Fuck it, right? I mean, that's weird. That'd be weird. Okay. Sign it and submit it. No. Value not concerned. I don't get it. I will find a way. I will find a way.
I love that they have all of the errors in one error, right? It says Shelley transaction validation error, Shelley based error, Conway UTXO failure, like, and then Alonso in Babbage. Like it's just everything. It's only the end that really matters, right? Value not concerned, but all they just dump you with every error.
It's actually weird. Normally you have to calculate everything, right? You make your draft by typing down 0, but now they don't let you have a 0 as a value. So what do I do? What do I put there?
What was Martin's concern? I'm going to go read it.
I'll find a way. I'm not gonna sleep until I find a way.
That's the problem.
Oh my god, there's an evil genius out there and it's not me.
You're fast on this trail.
Do you know what problem I'm struggling with? I can't remember the command line entry to launch PG admin in graphical format because it's not available in my start menu or with the equivalent to my app menu for Linux, right? And I have to launch it from the command line as a command. But I cannot for the life of me remember what I have to type. It's not something.
Mirror value, how do I? From
Gotta
list.
drop off. Great hanging out
Oh,
with y'all.
okay. Yes.
Yeah, see Adam,
I-
man. It's cool. I'm gonna drop off
Bye,
too,
Adam.
Mike.
No, it's
That was
okay. It's
fun.
okay.
That's fun, man.
That was nice talk.
Yeah, it was cool. I like watching you guys mess around in there. It was cool. It's nice to meet you. I seen you in the stream a lot, Intertree.
Oh yeah,
But-
yeah. I'm a curmudgeon. I'm angry all the time about all the problems and faults, and I don't hate him, but I get very frustrated by Lucid because Lucid is always optimistic, always talking the highest potential future version of everything, and I'm like, it doesn't do that yet, man. Like you're talking nonsense. You know, Mithril does not allow for like wallets yet. It is just an entire chain history, and it's very good in its current form. It's cool, but it's not what you're saying it is right now, and I just get frustrated with this, man. And then it's the largest ever airdrop of Cardano. It's like it's less every time. It's not the largest ever if it's less every time.
It's just pennies, man.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
That's cool. Yeah,
Okay.
man, it's awesome.
I'm a regular curmudgeon on the network.
Awesome. Cool. I'll see you around the
Well,
network,
see you guys.
curmudgeon. See you,
Have a
Mike.
good night.
See you. Bye.
Do you have any idea?
I mean, it's almost always a miscalculation that you've done, right?
I know. I know that's what it is because as you can see, multi-asset there and Mary value this
Too
amount.
high.
There's something from that.
Well, just
Value.
lower it by that amount.
Transaction out, transaction out. That's a transaction in. I don't get it.
Well, if it's giving you the difference, might as well enter the difference, right?
Between those two?
that minus that, and then change the input or the output, sorry, to equal the difference.
It looks huge. Look at that.
I know
We-
it's a huge difference, but like it's telling you, so it's saying that you're putting in a much higher
Yeah, I know.
output.
That's why it's kind of weird. This is my.
Oh, I maybe no. You see that? That lower that by well, you already tried that. You tried lowering it by the
By
difference.
this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 1,000. Oh,
Figured it out.
the deposit. I have to calculate the deposit. Right. It's not. Oh my God.
There you go.
The
You got it.
deposit.
You worked it out.
Oh, I'm so stupid. The
Hey,
deposit.
did it.
Okay. Let's do that again. Okay. Okay, we got this. We got this. I know we got this.
No, I launched PT admin for it.
Deposit.
In
How could I forget that? Okay. This minus 190,229
I'm gonna deal with
minus
that.
1,000 minus, oh, and there's a space there, minus
You have
10.
to remember this.
This is good. This is good. This is good. Give me the amount. Okay, that's right. Of course, the deposit. How could I forget the deposit? Okay, that's going back there. That's good. That's good. That's good. Everything looks good. Oh man, no. Oh, undo.
What's wrong?
Yes,
Right. The world is built on Control Z.
I wanted to. I wanted to control C.
Oh, the world is built on Control Z.
I need to calm
If we
down.
didn't have Control Z as a command or Command Z as a command, the world would be fucked.
Why does it have
Like
to be?
everything would be broken if there was no undo.
Why does it have to be so close of the C? It's almost like they wanted us to accidentally press on it. Okay, let's sign and submit now. Yeah.
That explains.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Oh my God. Okay,
Isn't that
okay. Let's.
lovely?
Oh,
Isn't it nice? Got a wee transaction up there.
we reproduce the glitch. Okay, hold on. I gotta know my.
Let's go look it up. Get a
We
parse on
we
that.
did it. It's
We
because
did it. We broke testnet.
they Adam and Jonah they distracted me. That's their fault.
And that, I was saying there was a mismatch. At least I gave you the answer, minus that from that. You're right.
I should have known. I should have known that the build raw calculates it so we don't see it. But yeah, I should have known.
It's,
Query.
it's okay. You made it through.
No, actually, it's a transaction. Transaction ID, and I need to transaction body. Let's see. So, okay, let's try with 0.
Drop that into chat and I'll vote on it.
Okay, it's there. That's good. And
Yeah. One.
index 1.
No.
Oh, this is sad. Why? Man. Maybe.
Well, do an entire state dump of Gov and just see if it just for the crack.
So it didn't work, right?
Well, maybe not yet.
You think so? I'm just gonna check something out. Card. No, that was Sancho keys. I think we did a query before. Query bill draw, calculate fee, bill draw. What was it? There it is. Yeah, it's there.
Maybe you needed to
Oh
pay.
wait, that's
Maybe
index.
you needed. Maybe you needed to pay enough to pay 2 deposits. Maybe it
Index.
is a secondary deposit.
Index 0. That's weird. Here.
Did you not pay the deposit?
Did I what?
The deposit is. Have you got the money for the deposit back already? In your own wallet?
No, the deposit should be back into the stake address normally. What was it? Wallet 1. Wallet 1. And if I run the same command, the index 1, so that's the first wallet, the index 0, the second wallet, the index 1, and it doesn't show it. That's the right. So if I use the index 0, I can see it. The index 1, I don't.
You're going to have to look at the actual transaction information of the ones that have multiple indexes then to find out how they're constructing them.
Again, 2 hours timestamp. Fortunately, guys, I'm gonna have to cut it off now. Once again. But if you want to join us on the next one, it's going to be every Thursday at the same time, 8 o'clock p.m. on Eastern Daytime. So I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.